Welcome to GoNintendo Nightly for May 16th, 2012. I'm Rami Cowboy. I'm going to bring you the best, worst, and weirdest news from GoNintendo.com. I'm also going to have comments from you guys. We're going to talk about Ubisoft, Peter Molyneux, and Toyota. But first, our intro. Today marks the second day in a row where I pick a Ubisoft story as my favorite story of the day. Once again, they're talking about the Wii U in general and how they really enjoy the system. This comment comes from Ubisoft CEO. We have been extremely happy with the functionality of the console and the use. What is really interesting is the fact that we have this tablet that allows us to bring totally new gameplay and also brings the possibility to have a lot more social functionalities, because you can now have a screen to play asynchronously with your friends, to receive challenges, and to really have a screen to communicate with your friends. That is going to help tremendously the experience in video games. As we already said, Ubisoft has 7 Wii U titles in development, 2 of which are casual, 5 of which are core. They've also shown off some of their technology that they're using in Rayman Legends, even though we weren't supposed to see that. So I'm pretty confident that they're going to have some unique uses for the Wii U controller. We just have to wait until E3 to see what they have in store for us. Our worst story of the day involves Peter Molyneux, which you might not think has a lot to do with Nintendo stuff, but apparently during E3 he's going to be some sort of play-by-play or commentary on what's going on. So before the big show, he's given some thoughts on what he thinks the big three are going to do, and when it comes to the Wii U, he had this to say. Nintendo's slightly lackluster Wii U is going to have to blow us away with better specs and great first-party lineup. If Peter Molyneux had his way, Reggie would have taken the stage at last year's E3 and said, Wii U is going to blow you away, you're going to have all kinds of experiences that you're not going to ever see on any other system, we're going to do things with the Wii U that never happened in the game industry before, it's going to be the most amazing experience ever. And then at this year's E3, Reggie would take the stage and say, well, we overpromised, and a lot of those features I said were going to be in the game aren't going to be in the game, but you know, I was just excited, and nobody's upset, right? In yesterday's video, I actually chose some comments from one of the stories for my best, worst, weirdest and read what you guys had to say. I think I actually like that way better, it makes more sense, so I'm going to read some of your comments about the Peter Molyneux story. First comment comes from Legend of Santiago, and he says, I think he meant the reveal, which was kind of lackluster. I know last year a lot of people were trying to figure out if the Wii U was actually a new system, it wasn't very clear, and then after the conference, Nintendo made it more clear by explaining during interviews what was going on. So this year they shouldn't have that problem. Second comment comes from Nintendo Freak, and he simply says, Milo. I think Milo dying off might have been best for the world, because I can only imagine what kind of weird and creepy things people will be doing with this young kid in their room, alone, at night, in the dark, with Kinect. I don't want to think about it. Let's go on to the weird story. Oh wait, that was weird. My real pick for the weirdest story of the day involves the pairing that you always knew was going to happen, Nintendo and Toyota. In Japan, Nintendo and Toyota teamed up to create a Nintendo DS-controlled navigation system, meaning you can actually use your DS to interact with the car's GPS, Toyota cars that is. So you can actually change maps and look at routes and all kinds of stuff like that. And I think I have a pretty good idea of how it would work. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of GoNintendo Nightly for May 16th, 2012. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm trying to record my videos in one take now, so I hope that makes for a smoother show. If you have any comments or suggestions, you can send them to me via Twitter or Facebook or GoNintendo itself or email, any of that. But please like or dislike this video, send it out on your Facebook account, anything you could do to push the show, I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed what we had to show you, and I will see you tomorrow. For now, you can enjoy this. As we've already talked about, Ubisoft has 7 Wii U titles in development, 5 of which are casual games and 2 of which are core, but they're... As we already talked about, Ubisoft has 7 Wii U titles in development, 2 of which are core games and 5 of which are casual games. God damn it! Our worst story of the day comes from Peter Molyneux, which you might not think has a lot to do with Nintendo, but apparently during E3 he's...
Were you recording?